welcome to the Market Mindset. Once again, we are so happy to have you here with us. Today, we have a very special segment, like all of our segments, and we want to make sure that as we continue on, we're giving you information that you can definitely learn from, information that you can retain.
Preach.
So, we want you to remember that if you have any questions for us or if it's something that you would like to see on the show, just reach out to us so that we can refine it and we can work on it and we can help you answer those questions. So today we have a very interesting segment for you. Sorry, as you know, with a lot of businesses now in this time, we are transitioning from one generation to the next. Generation X to baby boomers to, so it's different generations. So we want to see, like, how do you function in the transition? How do you function with things turning and tweaking and, bucking heads and stuff like that? How does it go smooth? That's one of the main things, along with the other normal questions that we ask about the struggles and things that you can learn from the segment. So today we have Mr. Ashton Julien. He owns
Yes.
Cowpen Building Supplies with his grandfather and family, who is Mr. Max Julien. So Ashton is here today to give us some of the awesome information that we can learn from. Ashton, thank you so much for taking our invitation and coming on the show.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I'm happy to share what knowledge I can
Mm.
on just helping transitioning. As I said, it's a hard thing, and whatever little light I can share,
Hmm.
Awesome.
hopefully to give any nuggets.
Yep. Well, we're
Excellent.
sure that you'll have a lot of nuggets to give. And so, everyone, usually we do a lot of new businesses or businesses that's been around for just a few years. But this time, we wanted to do an older business to see, how do you develop? How do you maintain? How do you withstand the struggles? I think
Mm.
it's very, very important because a
Hmm.
lot of us are just starting up and we need to know this information in
Yeah.
order to, flow on the waters and the waves.
Mm.
So, Ashton, the first question we want to ask you is, just tell us a bit about Cowpen Building Supplies.
Okay, Cowpen Building Supplies. It was started by my granddad primarily and my grandmother back in 2000. So that primarily makes it 21 years old.
Wow.
Um, it's a building, yeah, it's a building supply company, sells hardware, sells lumber, sells assorted tools, plumbing materials. So mainly hardware and lumber and raw materials for building a house.
Mm.
Awesome.
Mm. Okay. Um. Uh. As you probably heard, this is no novice company,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a company that no doubt a lot of persons in in Nassau use.
Yep.
As we have hurricane season that comes along every year, people are building all the time. Especially in this time we're in kind of the rebuilding phase throughout the Bahamas. So there's a house, a duplex that just went up across the street from us. So everyone has the opportunity, and everyone would need to definitely patronize some building material company or the other.
Why not let it be Cowpen Building Supplies?
You
There
know,
you go.
exactly. And that's amazing. That's amazing. Do you know what sparked them to want to start this company? Was this the first company that they thought about starting? Did they do something else before? Tell us about that.
So my granddad is the one primarily who started the business. My grandmother is the one who supports him.
Mm-hmm.
So when officially started the business,
Mm-hmm.
it was he was 60 years old, so quite old. He was 60 years
Wow.
old. Um, he primarily was in paving,
Mm-hmm.
so street paving, street painting,
Mm-hmm.
and he made his mainly his fortune from that, and then transitioned into a more passive business
Mm-hmm.
of selling hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to assume from talking to him from a few times, but he hasn't said that officially this is it.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer is hardware are not perishable, not easily perishable. So it's
Uh-huh.
not too much loss. As for instance, as maybe a grocery store, we wouldn't have to worry about spoiled items. We wouldn't have to worry about things expiring. So once you
Nice.
have a piece of 2x4,
Mm-hmm.
the only basic care has to go into it is protect it from the sun, protect it from the rain, and those things are not hard to do at all. And
Mm.
they could last you as long as the oldest house in Nassau been standing.
Ah,
Wow.
So
true,
I say so it's not
true,
yeah.
true.
So it's not much
Awesome.
loss in lumber. So
Yes.
it was a business where it's like, okay, if I import two, three trailers of hardware, it's something that I can keep. And if I don't, if the business is not successful, I could always use it to build up my own house or build up some other project I have. So it was. I'm
Ah,
assuming that that's what his thought is, and
Awesome.
wow,
So
wow.
yeah, I'm assuming that's what his thought is.
that's very interesting
I
and
know,
that's
right?
awesome. So there's a couple of points to get from that. Number one, he started the business when he was 60 years old. So
Yes.
marketers out there,
Yeah.
come on. We can do it no matter what age. We can do it right now. Don't let any limitation stop you. He started the business when he was 60 years old. And I mean, that's
Hmm.
awesome too. That's an awesome technique, I guess, or strategy to have. It isn't perishable. So why not do this? And it worked out and it ended up succeeding.
Mm.
So that's awesome. So we already know what services you offer. So we already know what people
Hmm.
can do with that. Um, but Ashton, tell us, did he share with you when he came up with that concept to start this business now? Did he have any struggles or any pains or anything that tried to stop him, especially being 60 years old and trying to start it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when starting a business, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
First thing first, he had the problem of simply clearing down and getting the property. I
Mm.
know there was a big thing with that. So if you take a look at our property, or those who have visited our property understand that it's in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a road leading to the property,
Mm-hmm.
and for him, in order to cultivate that road, to go ahead and drench it out and go ahead and build a place in the back there was a hassle. And I also heard that they gave him problem in putting up a steel building because steel buildings at that time weren't common.
Mm-hmm.
Steel buildings were used as warehouses to store stuff, but not as primary businesses.
Mm.
So getting permit to build that as a hardware and lumber company was hard for him,
Wow.
and so he struggled with that. And everything was not as savvy or as tech savvy as today. So you had to manually get lawyers and
Mm.
to write up registrar general statements to get that. Then they have to go ahead and submit wait weeks in order for that to get stamped because it wasn't like too computer savvy where you could just send it on
Of
email.
course.
So it
Of
was like
course.
where yeah, you know the famous saying, whatever happens in the world happens 10 years later in the Bahamas.
Ah,
So
yes. Yes.
yeah, so the government offices at that point in time,
Woo.
their networking, it wasn't the best.
Mm.
So everything had to be done manually, stamped manually, signed manually, uh, delivered manually.
Mm.
So it was a big hassle for them to open it up. I think it opened up in September, and they were trying to get the business from beginning of summer or a little before that.
Wow.
So that was a big thing. Yeah, that was a big
Wow.
thing back then.
And I
Thank
will
God for
say,
technology these days.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I will say, I can, like the songwriter says, I can only imagine. Because there are some
Yes.
government processes in the 21st century that I definitely feel like, yo, we should be so much further than this. So I can
Yes,
only
man, I don't know.
imagine how things were back when.
Yeah. But one thing I can say, and I guess I have to tip my hat off to them about this, and maybe it was sparked from COVID, or maybe this was starting long time ago. A lot of processes
Hmm.
are changing now, and they're trying to automate a lot of
Yes.
things. So at least they are bringing the changes and
Yeah.
trying to get better. So that is a plus. So Ashton, before we take a break to move on into our next segment, which Travell usually call
Hmm.
the meat of it,
The meat.
the meat of it, is there anything else that you would like our listeners to know about Cowpen Building Supplies and just coming down and getting your service, patronizing your service?
We have the best quality material for the best price.
That's it.
And that's what they need to know. And as I said, could probably put it, give us a call, let
Mm,
them try. So, and as you said, the duplex across from us was built by materials from us mainly. I think the only thing that they did not get from us is windows. So everything else was built
listen,
by us, and we make sure to provide them with all the best prices and
listeners,
materials. And check us out.
listeners, I'm telling you. I have personally, I'm not, this isn't one of those shows where, we advertise these companies for which we have never been to.
No.
I've personally
Mhm.
been to Cowpen Business Supplies,
Yeah.
and if you're in the area, definitely stop. You need that lumber, you need plumbing supplies, any building supplies, go there. The building that's across from us, the duplex, oh my goodness. Oh my, it's quality.
Mhm.
It's quality.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
So
yes. And as I
definitely.
said, I love to say the proof is in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, get your quotes from the other places. You guys said it don't have to be, oh, you hear it from the Go ahead, get the quote from the other places, bring it to Cowpen
Yes.
Building Supplies.
Yes.
We'll beat it.
Yes.
There you go.
There you
Put it
have
the
it.
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Listen
man.
to it, people.
Yes. Like I'm coining this phrase today. They say the proof is in the
Mhm.
pudding. I'll say the witness is in the wood. It's the witness
Put this in
is
the
in the
woods.
wood. I'm a witness.
So,
It's in the wood. Definitely check them out.
so he's coining that phrase.
No
Yes.
problem.
We'll let everybody out there be the judge as to whether he should keep that phrase or let it go. But thank you so much, Ashton. That was awesome information. And like Travell said, we can definitely vouch for Cowpen Building Supplies, which is why we were so excited to have Ashton on the show. So excited for him to accept our invitation because we are new into marriage, so we've had to build and construct many times. So and that is the
Mhm.
main place, the first place that we go to. So we're gonna take a quick break. Just to hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to get into the meat of it.
That's it. That's it. See you when we come back.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Starting a business or simply refining your brand? Well, Everest Consultants are here for you. Contact us for business flyers, promotional videos, website design, or even Facebook business page uplifts. You can reach out to us at 815-8546. Send us an email at everestconsultants@gmail.com. Visit our website at www.everestconsultants.com. We cannot wait to start this journey with you. And so we're back. That was a word from the sponsors. While the sponsors were playing, we checked on our baby boy Aiden. So precious. He's never going to do anything wrong. But we're back with Ashton from Cowpen Building Supplies. And this, like Robin previously stated, this is the meaty part of the episode. The first few questions are very important. And these questions are especially interesting today because, like Robin said, these aren't your basic questions. We're going to talk about how to transition and some of the struggles of transitioning between the older generation and getting a bit younger. Because, as you know, technology is advanced. We aren't using carrier pigeons or anything like that. We change totally. And not just the younger generation, but the world is moving in a different direction altogether. So we have someone here who has first-hand, knowledge and information on how that is. So I'll ask you this, Ashton. What do you think, or what can you say, is one of the biggest difficulties transitioning from the older way of doing things into now a new modern way of doing business?
Okay. Definitely one of the biggest problems is getting them to understand the new way of thinking, of striving in the ever changing business environment.
Mm-hmm.
One big example, as I said, is the banks.
Mm-hmm.
The ATM process versus the teller process.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to go through now the ATM versus actually going through the teller.
Mm-hmm.
And the older generation do not like this. But it's more convenient for the banks because it saves money from actually having to pay a labor cost to the tellers. It saves money because the machine itself is just much less to run.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you wouldn't even have to have a space or much of a space, a banking space, as the states have. You wouldn't have much of a space or much square feet of space to pay for
Mm-hmm.
when you have ATMs versus tellers. ATMs can fit more together, they're more compact, they're less money to run. And as you said, it's more convenient for businesses now, mainly the banks, to go ahead and use ATM versus using tellers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big way in where the world is changing, where the older generation just simply don't understand that. As far as they're concerned, they don't trust computers. They don't understand why we're using computers in this way to be this convenient. And that's a big issue in getting them to understand.
So Travell said that I'm a
Yeah.
part of the older generation.
I said this on a previous episode. I said this on a previous
Mhm.
episode. When we look at ordering platforms like Amazon.com, I think it's easier for me to have my card on file so I can press order and don't have to go through
Yeah.
inputting all that information all over. We have someone with us who, cybercrime, which, while it is a big deal, is always on her
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
She doesn't trust the internet, she doesn't trust computers, and I understand what you're saying.
Why trust it? Why trust it? But anyway, I will say this. I will say this because Travell brought it up. And he brought it up again. This is the second show that he's making this point.
I'm just saying.
So I just have to say that cyber crimes is real.
I
You
agree.
understand?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
must say, people out there, I must say that I'm getting a lot better and I'm doing a lot of things online now. But I do know that cyber crimes are real, and because I've never been uh I'm not a technology head. It's just something that I'm growing into and learning. So I can relate with your
Mhm.
grandfather, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashton, Ashton,
No problem.
before
I said technology.
yeah, before I let you go,
Yeah.
before we jump into the next question, I will give her props because things are,
Yeah.
getting
Uh-huh.
better.
Only and mind you, I think that
Mhm.
it's good. I think that it's good transitions. I just think that you have to be very careful. So that's one thing that I'm learning
Mhm.
now: how to take the necessary precautions. And seriously, in life, things are gonna happen. If I'm walking outdoors and I go to a store, something can happen to me there. So you have to move and
Yeah.
transition as the times transition. So I
Okay.
definitely understand what you were saying, Ashton. And I just want you to elaborate on that a bit more. Like, do you see that being a major issue, or what are some tactics that you use to try and work around that problem, to merge the two, to say I understand this, but let's try and move in this direction to get to the same goal.
Mm.
Yeah. Definitely.
Same
Anytime
goal.
you're making
Sorry.
improvement, anytime you're making something better,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be hiccups along the way.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, with the new system of how schooling is done now, with the new system of how things are ordered online now, yes, it's more convenient. It's better, but not without its hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
With everything in life, as you know, everything in life that's good comes from hard work. Now,
Okay.
the older generation understands that,
Mm-hmm.
and they understand that hard work is the backbone. No matter what, you cannot escape hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But technology allows us to relieve some of our hard work manually
Yeah,
onto the technology, making it much more convenient for us.
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
So
That's a good point.
things like yeah, so things like cybercrime, billions of transactions happen throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
from from each person using their laptop to them ordering maybe something online for food, for them catching an Uber, for them ordering something off Amazon, billions of these transactions happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not too sure of the stats, but I know for sure the amount of successful completed transactions versus the ones that may have been blocked by cybercrime or some stealing or miscellaneous stuff that's been going on is much less than the amount of successful stuff the amount of successful transaction that has been happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one big deterrent where you could see like, okay, maybe it's a one in a maybe it's a 80% chance of going a successful rate versus a lower 30% chance of it being cybercrime or being
Mm-hmm.
attacked in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing that I try to teach the older generation to say, hey, everything could happen bad. You could be walking to the store and someone could step on your foot.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people walk through the store and nobody stepped on their foot. So you
Yeah.
cannot be scared. You
To
cannot be scared
transition.
of hiccups. You cannot be scared of snags. You cannot be scared of these stuff. And it's good to be cautious of these stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
do not let it
Handicap
hinder
you.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't let it hinder change. So, for instance, that cybercrime thing, whereas ordering online, I have a prepaid card. So, for instance, but this prepaid card is not directly linked to my bank account or to any bank account that I always use. It's simply money that I put. Like if I want to put $300 on the card, only $300 on that card.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge way right there. If you want to keep your information inside Amazon, you just simply put $300. I get this card from Commonwealth Bank, and on this card, I just simply put, here you go, $300 on it. They put it on, and I could use $300 on that card.
Mm.
Now, if something was to happen where, hey, a cyber guy was to come and get a hold of it, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I lose maybe $300. But that doesn't happen in the last 4 years I've been using it, and I've been using it almost but every day.
Mm.
Okay.
But it can happen, but that's a way in order to them not to get your personal bank account or any personal information for the rest of your fortune.
Mm.
Just get a prepaid card, and you could take one snag away from
Nice.
cyberbullying. Oh,
Uh,
sorry. You
y-
edited that one out.
Cybercrime.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
cybercrime. Cybercrime. Okay.
Um, well, what I would say is this. What you are saying is very important because what you have to be mindful of, especially to our listeners out there, is that you may be starting, let's say, a car wash business. And
Hmm.
for all the years I've been alive, the car wash is you pull up somewhere, $10 or $15 per car, $25 for Jeep or a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
now you have to either leave or sit down there for 25, 30 minutes while they wash your car because you want to clean inside and out. Someone took it a step further and they're like, okay, there's a gas station on, I think it's Thompson Boulevard, where they say, okay, we'll wash your car, but it's a drive-through car wash. So now we have the same business, but through technology, I'm cutting down the time it would take for this person to be in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I may have a tight schedule, but I want my car washed. So I don't have the opportunity to sit down for 30 minutes while you wash my car. Because, we have a lot of Bahamians who like to supervise this process because they say, if you want to wash your car right, you wash it yourself.
Yep.
So I may not have 30 minutes to sit down and watch you wash my car. But that 30 minutes now gets cut down into 10, 15 minutes because now in this one process, my car is washed, it's dried. They have an industrial size vacuum. You run that through your car, you're in and out. So it's important to stick on the principles of old, but definitely advance in the business mindset or the market mindset because you're going to have competitors who are in the same types of businesses that you are in every day. And the difference between you and them is that they're making it, one person is making it more difficult, the next one is making it more convenient for the customer.
Yeah.
So it's important what you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a great point.
Definitely.
It's a great point. And one thing that Ashton said, and that I pointed out earlier, it's very important to just take precautions. Just protect yourself. if you are like me
Mhm.
and take extra precautions. Yeah, but just take precautions because the world the world is ever changing. The world is transitioning and
Yes.
transforming. So you have to grow with it and you have to move along with it, especially if you want to build and sustain a successful business in this time. You just have to find ways to be smart, do your research, and proceed accordingly. So, Ashton, in all of the struggles, sorry, in,
Struggles is the word you say.
in all of the struggles that you've experienced with moving from generation to generation, has there been any positives in trying to relay that message of, hey, I know you did it this way, but let's try this. Have you had any positive outcomes from that?
Definitely, as Terrell said earlier, using the example of the car wash, you have to teach the older generation that the same goal is being achieved.
Mm,
The car is still getting washed, the car is still getting cleaned. We're just making it much more efficient. The
mm,
process is just much more convenient, much more efficient. It's a shorter time. We're meeting the same goal.
mm-hmm,
So getting them to understand that, hey, the same goal that they have always been used to using the manual and the longer way of achieving that goal, we have now taken that and make it more efficient, much more faster.
mm-hmm,
Same goal, same
mm-hmm,
goal. So when they understand that, hey, oh, technology is a tool we can use to make us more efficient and more convenient to help us do business smarter to thrive. As I
mm-hmm,
said, versus those that does not want to go ahead and innovate,
mm-hmm.
that does not want to upgrade their car wash, or that does not want to shop online, be much more convenient. And people love convenience. So
Yep.
getting the older generation to understand that, hey, it's just much more convenient and much more efficient to do it this way, and to see the light in their eyes, like, wow, okay. They would say, hey, I wish I had that back in my day. Stuff would
Mm-hmm.
have been so much more easier. And once they realize, say, hey, things are just getting much more convenient, that's to see that on their face.
Mm-hmm.
That's a positive right there.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, and like you said before we move on, people like convenience. I love
Hmm.
convenience.
Yes.
For
Hmm.
example, when we were in our building phase, we went to an establishment to purchase a screen door. Now, we
Hmm.
drive a hatchback. Robin doesn't like that word, but it is what it is. We drive a hatchback. Okay? I love hatchbacks. But anyway, we
Yeah.
went in, we purchased a screen door, heavy duty screen door. Now, I know, coming up, the old way is to strap that thing on top of your car and you drive home with that. Personally, I've always thought the strapping on top of your car thing is a major hazard. If I have to put my hand
Hmm.
out the window and hold it on top of the car, I don't like that. I asked,
Okay.
can it be delivered? Yes, it's a small extra cost. They delivered it to my house. That's convenient for me.
Hmm.
You understand? So,
Yeah.
uh, um, somebody else may say, "Oh, I saving that money or whatever it is," but I like to stop and think, okay, yes, I could strap this on top of my car, but I gonna have to sit funny because I'm a tall guy and I drive a hatchback. I got to sit funny in my
Hmm.
car because the rope got to go through the window, and then I got to hold this on top of my car. And when I turn, it's a possibility of this sliding off. I take all that into account.
Yeah.
The convenience of that particular company was, hey, we'll deliver this to your house. Just like
Hmm.
Craven. For a while here in the Bahamas, we didn't have a reliable, delivery service. Now, yes, I can drive right to Wendy's, but I like to get it delivered because it's convenient for me. I like it,
Yeah.
and that's what kind of separates one business from another.
Yes, definitely. So I agree with you, Travell,
Yes. With
on. Uh huh.
that aspect, yeah, with that aspect, as I said, you just have to give the option, the
Yeah.
freedom of them doing. That's also a convenience.
Mm-hmm.
As for instance, in our shop, you have those that would carry a screen door on a hatchback, and you have those that want to deliver it. And I
Yeah.
said, it's the convenience of also giving them that choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to say, oh, we cannot deliver it. It's the convenience of having the choice of saying, rather I
Exactly.
spend the
Exactly.
$5, or
Exactly.
rather I go ahead and
Exactly.
save the $5 and just carry it myself. So we
Mm-hmm.
want to give customers freedom,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
convenience to do what they like, and that's what they love about our business in particular.
What are some points that you can give our listeners um, that to teach them some lessons about transitioning from generation to generation, and to teach them some great lessons about having a seasoned business, period?
Okay, first thing is, with a seasoned business, understand that it's been running there before you were there, that you are not the know all be all, that
Mm.
rely on the expertise of those that were there before you, but
Mm-hmm.
also remember your independence, and remember that you are trying to innovate into a thriving market, into an ever changing business society, especially with the ongoing pandemic. You're going to need to be innovative. But in your innovation, do not forget the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Do not forget what got you there. Do not forget the, the bread and butter of what this company is ran on.
Mm.
And a lot of younger ones, and I had a problem with it too, would go into a company and just totally like rebuke all rules, or
Yeah.
all establishment that was there, because we think we know it all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a big fight. That's what the older generation don't like with some of the newer generation, is that, hey, we've been through some of the stuff you're all going through. We've been through some of the struggles that you all are going through.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to tell you, say, hey, respect our word. But
Mm-hmm.
also for the older generation, a lot of them feel very entitled and don't think the new generation knows a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a big problem. And just overall, the best, as I said, to get over a problem like that is to make sure, understand, respect your elders, and show them in that company that the goal is still the same,
Mm.
that you are just making a more efficient process.
Yep.
So in the business that I'm in, I'm simply showing them, say, hey, I respect everything that you all have established here. I respect everything that you all brought here. Y'all are the reason I'm able to get here in this position, to try to make the business more efficient. But
Mm.
that's my goal. Make the
Mm-hmm.
business more efficient, especially during this COVID time. Everything's online. The, you know, Everything has to be done different. There cannot be much people in the store as there were before. There can't be much human contact without there being a glass or some protection.
Mm.
So all of this is what us younger generation would help it. So we're there to say, hey, we're going to meet the same sales goals. We're going to meet the same goals of paying our employees, but we're going to have to do it in a different way. Let
Mm.
our younger minds, those of us that grew up in this time, this
Mm-hmm.
21st century, let us go ahead and understand and take the, as I said, the meat of it, to say, hey, let us do all the worrying whilst you all just continue reaping the benefits of what you all have built. And
Mm.
once you get them to understand, once you get the older generation to understand that, hey, it's the same goal, you're going to maybe make a little bit more money. Yes, there are going to be snags along the way where us younger generation may make mistakes. But at the end of the day, understand our heart that we want to get accomplish the same goal as they do.
It's
Mm-hmm.
the
And as
same
far
goal.
as yeah, so as far as you go ahead and make them understand that we are all working towards one goal,
Uh-huh.
everything becomes easy peasy.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Hmm.
Awesome. So
Nice.
thank you so much for that information, Ash. I will hand it over
Hmm.
to Travell.
Please? Can I say it? God. Ashton, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Hmm.
It is very refreshing to not only, interview somebody who is so knowledgeable
Yes,
about the
definitely.
history of the business that way he works, but also
Hmm.
is so informative as to the plan that he plans to implement to take the business to another 20 years. So it is
Yes, yes.
definitely a blessing to us, being new in business, to have a guest like you come on and impart the knowledge that you have. So we thank you for taking that time out to come and tell our listeners, I know definitely there are persons who would watch this episode as we are making mental notes. Mental notes. There are persons who will watch this episode.
Mental.
There are persons who will watch this episode and definitely glean from the information that you shared with us, because you have a unique situation. But the important thing is you are poised to take the bull by the horns, and you have a plan for the future. So we thank you for joining us, man. Robin, you have the last word.
Thank you for giving me the last word, Travell. No, but I definitely think that we learned some great lessons here, Ashton. It was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. And like you
Thank you for
said,
having me.
yes. And like you said, I think it's definitely all about respect. It's about respect. We have to respect each one another. Both of us have the knowledge. Both of us have something that we want to give to grow the business. So we just have to respect one another, listen to one another, and realize that it is the same goal. We all want to achieve the same goal, and that is efficiency and success. So visit Cowpen Building Supplies. They are absolutely awesome. And as we heard today, they are trying to do everything they can to cater to their customers. So Ashton, we will just end by you giving us all of the information that we need to find Cowpen Building Supplies.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Oh, what was that, what the question was?
Give us all of the information that we
Oh,
need to find
okay,
Cowpen
sorry
Building
about
Supplies.
that.
No problem.
Okay, no problem. So Cowpen is located on Zion Boulevard. That's close to South Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, s- so that's the same street as Princeville. Once you're on the same street as Princeville, if you're coming from Blue Hill Road, you will continue going east as you're heading to South Beach Police Station, and we'll be the next left after Signature Plaza. And
Okay.
if you're coming from East Street, you would take the corner opposite of South Beach Police Station, heading west, and we'll be the third. Yes, yes, we'll be the third right.
Mm. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
So thank you once again for coming to the Market Mindset.
No
Go
problem.
ahead, Travell.
All right. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I gave you the last word. I'm done.
Thank you once again for coming to the Market Mindset. We do enjoy you coming here, Ashton, and we do enjoy our listeners giving us a time. One more, giving us.
See, I'm going to have to take this over. Listeners, thank you once again for joining us on the Market Mindset. It has been an excellent episode with Ashton from Cowpen Business Supplies. And join us next time on the Market Mindset.